She said she's more of an observer. And I want you to know that even being an observer is very powerful. Um, I want you to just picture this with me. You come to a church and one person is there. You walk in and you're the second person and you look around and all the seats are empty. How do you feel? You feel, man, I went to the wrong place. What am I doing here? I'm the, I mean, loser number one, loser number two. Okay, you for some reason, even though we're not losers, we're winners in Christ, we're victors. But for some reason, when you come into a room when nobody's there, you feel like weird. You feel alone. You feel like something's missing. But just by the fact that just by showing up, you might not be the speaker, you might not be the pastor, you might not be the singer, you might not even know your full gift, but you being there actually allows people to feel the presence of God just by coming. It just, for some reason, it just, there's power in numbers. It's interesting how even when people do like protests or whatever they do, they want the numbers because it's just physically it looks like, wow, this is really supported. Even though if you ask the average person in certain protests, do you even know what it's about? People are like, nah, I'm just coming because my friend came. They don't even know what's going on. In every group there's usually only a few leaders. In fact, in every church there's a few leaders. In every organization there's a few leaders. Not everybody has to be a leader. Not everybody has to be the spokesman. When you look in the Bible, in the book of Acts, who do you see as a spokesman? You see Apostle Paul, you see Peter, you see Stephen. Where were all the other thousands of Christians? You don't hear their names, but yet what we do see is the church is growing. And somehow these churches are being established and people are coming. And what that means is that every part of the body is important. I always teach us when it comes to praise. Sometimes you think that your praise means nothing. But sometimes your praise is not just between you and God. Sometimes your praise is encouraging the person beside you. Just by you singing, make somebody else get the deliverance that they needed just by hearing the voice. And so you think that you are not so special that you can't sing like everybody else. Just by you participating, by you coming, by you opening your mouth, even by you just handing out a pamphlet. You might not even be the greatest evangelist, but by you just being willing in the smallest way. God doesn't expect you to be exactly like me. When I say, let's be evangelists, be fishers of men, it doesn't mean you have to do it as good as I do. Doesn't mean you have to do it with the tact that I do. Obviously, we learn to do it like the best we can, but in whichever way God gives you the grace to do it, even if it's just following along with somebody that's more experienced, you being there gives witness to the fact, to the words that person's saying. When even the courts of law says, when there's two witnesses, three witnesses, the matter is established. So when one person comes, it's like, well, yeah, it's good for you. But when there's somebody standing, agreeing, even just nodding your head, it kind of psychologically, it says to the person, wow, like whatever they're saying it must be true because somebody else is witnessing that. For some reason, this is how we all think. We think in packs. We don't think. That's why you see a lot of people that went with this whole COVID stuff, and it's not that they fully wanted it or agreed with it. It was just they went around with the crowd. People just for whatever reason go with what is popular, and they can push anything. People can push. Junk food is good for you, and if it was all around the billboards and all the media, everyone would buy it. I mean, McDonald's advertisements is exactly proof of that. So that just means that most people out there, they don't have time to think that deeply like some of us. Some of us have that opportunity to think deeply. We go to higher education, but a lot of people don't get that opportunity. A lot of us are just way too busy to think about life, but we all have this need inside that we can't fully grasp. We know we're looking for love, we know we're looking for understanding, and just to have somebody come up to you, for most people, 9 times out of 10, that's enough. This is what God is trying to communicate. The harvest is ready. Like, people want love. People want someone to walk beside. People want someone to care. And there's not enough people to even do that. And if you can just come alongside someone, show up at church. I know your body might, but just show up, stand beside that person. You know, take the time even once a week to just knock on someone's door and just be beside them and let them know I care. Give them a phone call. People will feel that love, and that's what we want. We want people to know that they're cared for. We want people to know their love. We want people to come closer. And so I just want you to know, like that lady that testified, if you're here today and you're that shy person, partner with someone that's not so shy, but join in with them. You don't have to be exactly like them, but God is using you. And if you don't show up, the power and the effectiveness of what God is trying to do, it won't be as effective. There's something about you that's needed. Just like when Paul describes the body, it's the weaker parts of the body that are more necessary in some senses. I mean, you know, we all know our different body parts, and everybody looks at the face, the head. But I mean, what's the head without the fingernails to scratch your head? What's the head without the fingers to scratch your eye? I mean, or the hand to put food in your mouth. I mean, the head would be nothing without you. What's the head without feet that are walking, toes to grip? What's the feet without what's the head without the knees? You know, we need each other. This is why we have to stick with each other. This is very important. This is what we've forgotten about, the power of community. Look, just having everyone come out here, it encouraged me. It encouraged people online. People are online are raving. They're looking. You don't know what you did just by showing up. Amen. Sydney is watching you right now. We have people all around Sydney. It's caught in the mayor's attention. I mean, it's caught newspapers already just by you guys coming. I mean, police are stationed at every place we go. And what are we doing? I mean, the biggest threat we have, we're armed with a microphone and a speaker. I mean, a preacher from Canada with a microphone and a speaker is causing police forces and people and media and mayors to wonder what's going on. And you know what? It's not even me. It's because you showed up. It's because you showed up. Some of you are struggling, but you showed up. You didn't let your weaknesses cause you to not show up.